Yo, it's Bear and I'm back with another video reviewing cards, and this time from the brand new booster set in Lightning Overdrive. And a lot of people seem to really enjoy the last time I did this, so this time I'm here to give you guys my opinion yet again. So we'll start off with the cards that I believe you guys should avoid buying, and then right after that we'll dive into the cards that I think you should pick up while they're still cheap and available. Alright, so to start off with the first card, this one I think might maybe ruffle a few feathers, or I guess pull some weeds in this case. So the card is Traptrix Vesiculo, which is currently sitting at around $7, and I think that's just way too high. So as someone who has played Traptrix and has made an in-depth guide on the deck, I don't think this card or the Link Monster actually are all that game-changing for it. Like, don't get me wrong, they are both fantastic cards and should probably be included in the deck. And even though it is an extender, I still really feel like Sarah as the opening play is just so much better, and this new card just feels more of a follow-up play for your next turn, which in general, if you're playing a trap deck, shouldn't really be your primary concern. And it also doesn't really seem like a 3 of in the deck as opposed to a 1 of, which is more what I think the card should be. And for that reason, I don't think people are going to be going out and buying like full play sets of the card, so you shouldn't really be worried about buyouts. And even with that said, I don't think all that many people are going to be trying to play Traptrix heading into the new format, which I expect to still be dominated by 1, Dragon Link, 2, Tri-Brigade, and 3, Drytron, right? So it's not like Traptrix is going to be a meta relevant contender. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a lot better than I'm giving it credit for. Maybe I still need to do some more testing. But personally, I feel like if you give this deck some time, the deck is just gonna fade back into obscurity and nobody's really gonna play it, and both this card and the archetype related cards are going to drop back down in price. If you think I'm wrong, that's just my opinion. Feel free to pick it up if you still really want to play the deck, but yeah, those are just my 2 cents. We'll go over this next card very quickly. It's Dark Honest. It's sitting at $12, which is just way too freaking high. Like, there's just no reason for this card to be in a double-digit price range. We're way past the days of Honest really being an all-powerful card of any kind. It could be an interesting, like, cheese card, I want to call it, but honestly, that's about it. And I honestly do just expect this card to just keep dropping in price over the next couple of weeks, because honestly, this card is just like a decade or so too late. Moving on to the final card that I think you should just avoid buying altogether in this set, we have Bahalutiya, the Grand Radiance, sitting at $5.25. Like, yeah, okay, this card is already cheap, but even though the card is cheap, I still don't think it really warrants your money. So let's think about it. It doesn't have overly impressive attack or defense stats. Like, yeah, they're decent, but they're not like that great. I think I just spit. I don't know if I was visible on camera. But yeah, considering that you're most likely tribute summoning this card, you just have a 2k attack body on board that doesn't really do much of anything for you. The effect that it has to mulligan your opponent's hand away isn't that great. I mean, sure, if you are against Invoked, you can avoid your opponent having the follow-up invocation, but I don't see a scenario where you wouldn't rather play other cards like, say, a Phantasme, a Drolan Lockbird, a Lancia, an Ash Blossom. Like, what do you take out to play this card, right? We're just in a place in the game right now where there are just so many good options to main and side in your deck that this just isn't good enough to cut it. Look, in my personal opinion, it's probably to just best avoid this card altogether. I don't see it seeing any meta relevant play, and it's just not a very good card. Moving on to the cards that you should pick up while they're still cheap, and the first one I'm honestly surprised is as cheap as it is. We have Amaze Attraction Horror House coming in at $2.80. Okay, well, let's look at it like this. One, it's an ultra rare, and it seems like a staple 3 of in amazement related decks. It's either a monster effect negation, which is very good, or a Book of Moon, which situationally can be better than a monster negate. Like, for example, if you're playing against Prank Kids, you probably want a Book of Moon to normal summon, right? And yeah, there's just some nice versatility to choose from the effects that it gives you. Amazement in general seems like a very popular archetype. A lot of people are interested in it, a lot of people are talking about it, it seems splashable, and it does have some potential. So this is a key candidate of a card that I just expect to spike in the future, and I highly suggest picking them up while they're still cheap. Also, you just gotta remember that there's a likelihood that this card doesn't see a reprint for a very long time. And that's something you always got to keep in mind with the new sets. We don't have special editions anymore. And just in general, for all of these cards, keep that in mind. There probably won't be a reprint for a decently long time. I covered one amazement trap, so you know I gotta cover the other. The next one is Amaze Attraction Cyclo-Coaster, which is sitting around $1.50 to $2. It's not as good as Horror House, but it is built-in spell trap removal, which is always nice and does become better depending on the meta. Not only that, but it's also a searcher, which is great because even if the spell trap removal isn't relevant, searching for your in-archetype monsters always will be. And just for $2 or just under $2, it's fairly cheap for a card, and I don't think this will spike massively, but if the archetype does gain any traction, it does have potential to maybe become a $5 to $10 card. Moving on to quite an underwhelming archetype, we have Live Twin Ki-sikil Frost. Now this card, despite the archetype not accomplishing much on its own, is actually a very good card. It's currently sitting at around the $5 price point, and I think $5 for what this card is a very fair price, which honestly I don't think happens very often in Yu-Gi-Oh! For one, it's an extender, and that extender also has the potential to draw you a card if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand. Now, considering how good that draw is pre-Lightning Overdrive and post-Lightning Overdrive, you're more than likely going to be resolving the effect to draw here quite a bit. Not only that, but the deck also is getting a monster searcher in the next main booster set, which is Dawn of Majesty, and Konami in general just really seems to like the Live Twin archetype, so I can actually see them getting more support even going forward in the future. So while the price is fair now, if the deck keeps getting more support and maybe sees some play on any level at all, this card could go up a little bit, maybe not too much, but yeah, if you want to play this deck, I would grab these now because I think $5 for it is a very, very fair price. Alright, so while this next card I don't think is as good or has as much potential as the aforementioned cards, it does have the coolest art in my opinion in the entire set, or one of the coolest arts, and it's also a super poly target, which I guess it's probably the main appeal of the card. It's currently sitting around $2.30, which is not a lot at all. So yeah, like I said, potential super poly target, and it really does come down to a specific meta. Like right now, it's actually possible with Shaddolls, we have a Dragon Link both being around as well. Invoked with Alistair in hand also makes this possible to fuse into, and it's nice because this also does avoid playing into Heraldic Seals, and you don't have to play something like a Gamma Seal or a Gardarla or a Sphere Mode. Like, well, Sphere Mode is still very good, but like, you get my point. You can avoid tributing the seals and triggering the effect, which honestly we don't have a lot of ways to do right now in the meta without the card getting negated. On another note, Dragoon is also a spellcaster, and if you hate Dragoon as much as I do, here's another potential super poly target to get rid of it. Moving on to the card's effect, its effective banish is just a little bit niche, but it can also come up. More than anything else, primarily it is just a super poly target. So while I'm definitely a lot more higher on the previous three cards that I mentioned that I recommend for you guys to pick up, I still do think this is a pretty cool card and does deserve an honorable mention. Alright guys, that wraps it up for my Lightning Overdrive card review. If you guys agree or disagree with any of my choices on this list, please let me know down in the comments below. If you think I've missed anything that you think has potential in Lightning Overdrive to spike, also let me know down in the comments below because I'm really interested to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more of these in the future, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Bear signing off. Peace, guys.